On this Memorial Day, we have a story that until recently was just fragments. A story carried by a woman for 70 years with only a beginning and an end, but no middle. Until now. Bob Kendrick with a daughter's quest to find answers for her mother and new recognition for a young man's sacrifice.
December 7th, 1941, a day of infamy in modern history.
It was just a story kind of shared in our family.
For years, Dorothy E. Larger had been telling her daughter Linda about her teenaged boyfriend who went off to war and became the biggest question mark in her life.
Many times in the years when his name would come up, I didn't know anything.
Dick Shott was an all-American boy who grew up here at 429 Hanford Street, played baseball for South High, was with Dorothy the day Pearl Harbor was attacked. She told him he probably wouldn't have to fight.
He kind of ha-ha'd me on that because he figured he'd be in the thick of it.
In fact, Shott ended up in the belly of a B-17 bomber as a gunner. All Dorothy knew was he'd been killed.
This was a very helpful document.
Then Linda and Cliff started to work on it. They were fascinated by it.
2 years ago, Linda and her cousin Cliff decided it was time to get answers. He was an investigator, so answers came quickly from the internet.
By the time my mom got to the house that night to have dinner with us, we had learned approximately where he had been killed and where he was buried.
And the cruel twist that led to Shott's death. While flying to an entirely different target.
The Columbus miss took flak to engine number 3, and the entire crew of 9 bailed out.
Directly above the raging Battle of the Bulge. 7 men landed on the American side and lived. Shott and the other man landed on the German side and perished.
We were kind of excited when we saw that the plane was named the Columbus Miss. We thought there might be a connection, but
to me, no.
It turns out to be kind of a sad irony.
Documents and images were filling in the puzzle, and then
it was an absolutely incredible coincidence.
Dare we say destiny made an astounding contribution.
I just ran a Google search on his name and found the air medal he was awarded on eBay for sale. I was astonished. I couldn't believe it. If I had waited another 10 or 12 hours or waited the next day to surf the net, that medal would have been gone and I never knew it was out there.
In January, Cliff, Linda, and Dorothy brought the medal to Mott's Military Museum in Groveport, where it will be displayed, along with all they've learned about Dick Shott's sacrifice.
By bringing the medal back here, we get to bring a little part of Richard home.
Along with a story we can all know now, that no longer ends with a question mark for Dorothy.
Very glad I have answers now.
Well, Dorothy also came across an old newspaper clipping recently. It showed Dick Shott's younger brother John was later killed in Korea the day before he was scheduled to return home to the U.S.